Well, welcome back to Shane's Main Shop. And what you're looking at here is some scrap wood that's going to be a bat house. So I just gathered up a bunch of wood, and I'm going to just take the smallest one and cut everything down to that size, give or take. I might make some adjustments and have a split in it somewhere so I can make it a little bit bigger. But this one here is about 22 by 30, and I'll be able to do probably 2, maybe 3 compartments in there for a bat house. So I'm going to get these cut down, get the angles cut off, and get it ready to just kind of see what I can actually, how many layers I can make with what I have for scrap sitting here. All right, so I went and cut them down to, my narrowest one was about 22, so I cut them all down to 22 wide, and I'm not going to change the length because I know I've seen bat houses made, and each chamber, they don't all have to be the same length. So you can see they taper like stairs. Now this one here is probably a little bit too wide, so I might put an additional piece in here. Actually, this will be the outside piece anyways. I will put an additional piece here and just use this slot here as the vent hole as well. So it's going to work out good, just using up some scraps. Now, the overall length of this thing, one way is 22, and the length of it this way is about 33. So it's going to be a very large bat house, and it will have, this will be the back, and then in here will be 1 area, 2 areas, 3 areas for bats to be in. So I'm guessing this will hold hundreds of bats. So the next thing I got to do really is rough these up on the inside. So this face, both sides of this one, both sides of this one, and the inner side of this one, so the bats have something to grip onto. These back to here are pretty rough already, but I'm going to rough them up some more. This one here is pretty smooth, and this one. And what I'm going to do to make it easy, I don't want to spend all day on that. I'm going to go ahead and lower my table saw blade very, very low, and then just run the boards over it just to scratch it up. So probably something like that. Just enough so it scratches up and gives the bats something to grab a hold of. And hopefully you can see that it's just barely above. So that's what we're going to try for that, so they have something to grab. And then we'll move on to the next layer, next level. And I know they need 3/4, I looked up, they need 3/4 inch opening is what they like between each one. And we will also drill some holes in a couple of these so they can pass through each compartment if they want to do that. All right, so I did take them on the table saw, but a couple of these had a little cup to them because, again, this is scrap material. So it wasn't either getting the middle or the edges. So I did a bunch on the table saw, but then I just went and got a router, put just a small bit in it, and had it just sticking out through the bottom, just a tiny bit, enough to dig some trenches. And you can see now the bats will have plenty to grab onto all the way up through. And I did that with all the pieces. I think you can see some more pieces over here. So they're all done except for the outside of the back and the outside of the front, of course. So, yeah, now I just got to, I think I have one more piece I got to do, and then I can lay this stuff out. All right, so I got them stacked all up here. Well, I got the top one rolled off the side. The next thing I need to do is drill some holes up here in the middle two so the bats can transfer from one compartment to another if they want to. So I'm going to drill those holes next. And then I got to just start getting some 3/4 inch boards cut so we can space these things apart properly. Now, I just looked up a bunch of stuff. There's all kinds of different ways to look at it. But I think conservatively, this bat house altogether will hold at least 500 bats. And that's giving them each 3 square inches. And that's on the low end, because I didn't even count these. I counted just the shortest section here. So some of these other sections are longer. But I'd say in worst case, if we have enough food for them in the area, then it can hold easily 500 bats. So we'll see. We know we have 5 or 6 bats out there, but we want a lot more. I just used a hole saw like this to cut 3 holes at the top of the center 2 pieces. So that way the bats can transfer between compartments if they want to. All right, so I cut some 1 inch wide, 3/4 inch thick strips, several of them here, and these will go between the layers. I'll put a layer of plywood on, and then another layer, and then the next layer, and then another one. Now some of these must be cut down. I cut them all one length, but as we get shorter, we'll cut them down to meet the length of each of the panels. So I just got to figure out, I want to have a tapered roof on this, so I'm probably going to drop these down a little bit, or cut a taper on. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to think about it, see how I want to do that. But yeah, there's going to be a tapered roof on this, so no water settles up there or snow. Okay, I got my pieces all ready to go here, and I'm going to start assembly. I got the first one upside down. This is the back. That way I can glue and screw into that piece. Then I'll flip it over, and I can go in this way through each of the layers. So that's what I'm going to start with. Once I get it all assembled, and then I'll cut the angle on the top for all pieces for the roof to go on. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right, well, I got it all nailed together. I think I am going to put a small piece here. I don't know yet. I might just leave it just like this. I know they say you need a vent, which I'm going to drill some vents in the side here. But we've had bats in the eaves of our garage, no vents or anything. Yeah, I suppose they're close to the outside, but we'll just, we'll see. I'm going to have a vent. Definitely have some vents in the side here, but I'm not going to worry too much about the front at the moment. I can always modify it. What I did is I glued each layer and nailed it. I was going to use screws, but I got just so many nails that I could use, and it's not a, I'm not looking for precision here. It's going to be outside in the weather. I'm going to paint the heck out of it, and I didn't want to use up more expensive screws when I have tons and tons of nails to choose from. So I'm going to cut this angle because it's going to have a pitched roof on it, and then I'm going to square up both of the edges as clean as I can, because I'm going to put a faceboard on these to make it look a little bit neater looking, and then we'll see what we're going to do from there. But I think I've said in other videos, I'm not a designer or a drawer or anything like that. I just kind of build as I go and make modifications as well. But almost in every case, my products come out to work just as planned. All right, so I got the sides all flushed up, ran it through the table saw, both sides. And then I cut the angle on the top here. We're putting a top on like this. But before I do that, I want to put sides on to cover up all this end grained end of the plywood. So get all that covered up. Then I'll cut my top to length to overhang that as well. So I'm going to hunt around for some scraps. This one's not really quite long enough. It leaves some exposed down there. So I'll look around, see what I come up with for the two sides. Found some thin plywood just to dress up these edges here, like so. And I cut this angle here, and I just cut the angle down there to follow that. And I have one for this side as well. So I'm going to get those attached, and then really what I should have done is put those and made this top overlap that to finish it off. But that's not. It's going to be up in a tree or up in a big pole. So I'm going to get these attached, and then I'll measure what I need for my top and cut the angles for this. And then we'll be almost done, other than painting and some vent holes. All right, so get the top cut down to length, and I went and put the angle on it that matches this. So when I put it on here like so, you can see it matches. Now there's going to be an overhang on both sides a little bit, and I think I'm going to leave it this wide to give plenty of an overhang, you know, for in here as well. I'm concerned with bees making nests up in here, but we can deal with those relatively easily. So I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. Attach this thing down in position, and then start painting. That's a pretty good sized bat house. All right, so the sides are all on, top's on, everything's glued. We're near completion now. I just got to vent holes, which I'm still on the fence about, and paint. It needs a good coat of paint. I left the inside plain. Now I might stain these surfaces that are exposed here. We'll see. Or I might spray paint them because I don't want to fill in these grooves so the bats have something to grab when they land. But once they get up inside, there's all kinds of stuff to grab onto. And I didn't want to paint the inside, worried about like the smell or the paint. If they, I don't know. So I know where they were at my place, they were in fresh native wood. It wasn't painted or anything like that. So I'm going to stick with that. I know a lot of people paint the inside, a lot of people stain the insides, do a little different things. I'm going to leave most of my inside completely raw wood and just paint the heck out of the outside and treat these exposed surfaces here. And that's it. And then when spring comes, we'll get this thing hung up in the air, and hopefully the bats will come. Well, we already know we have bats out there, so we're just going to give them a place to roost, and hopefully it'll draw a lot more in. But let me get this thing painted up. All right, well, there it is with a coat of black paint, and I'm not going for a fashion or appearance, and that's why I decided to use this paint. I opened this paint can up, and it was pretty lumpy. It is oil-based, and it is extremely thick. So it definitely must have had, a cover was not put on tight last time. But I used the mixer, and I mixed it up, and I didn't, you can see there's definitely some lumps and stuff on here. But again, what I like about this paint, it's like an industrial paint. It's very, very thick. It's probably going to take several days to dry. But I did put some down here in the exposed area as well, because there's still plenty of scratch room left for them to grab, and I can always modify it if I have to. So there it is. There you have it. A very large bat house that's going to take a long time to dry. Once this is dry, I'll flip it, do the back side, and then I'll probably flip it back over and do another coat on the front. And I'm just going to use up what's in there. There's only like that much left in that can. Just use it all up so I can throw it away. And it's a good project to use it on, because you certainly can't use it on any finished project, because the paint, you know, it's gone bad. It's got some lumpy stuff. But what's good, the good part of the paint, it does spread out fine. It just has a lot of little chunks in it. But for this application, it's going to be perfectly fine. I hope you like this build. Again, there's plenty of fantastic YouTuber videos out there that have built some very beautiful bat houses. So definitely go check them out. That's where I got some of my ideas from. But in this case, I'm not looking for that. It's going to, I really want it kind of conspicuous. I want it kind of, or inconspicuous, whatever, hidden, not really seen, and just draw the bats in so we can help with you know, mosquito and bug population and stuff like that. So, hey, thanks for swinging by Shane's Main Shop. Most likely you are not a subscriber, so please take a second, just hit that subscribe button. Do all kinds of different things on this channel. DIY, build stuff, repair, household, stuff like that. So come back by, poke around, look around. But I know, you know, 90-some-odd% of you are not subscribers, which is fine. We love having you here, but take a minute, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. And tell me what you think. And if you have any other different ideas of building a bat house, it'd be greatly appreciated for other people that might be coming along after you. Hey, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.